Good morning, class. Today we're learning lesson 6.5a, absolute value equations. So we're going to solve a few equations today. Each of them will have an absolute value sign in it. So for the first one, absolute value of x is equal to 5. We have to remember the definition of absolute value, which says how far away from the 0 on a number line is a number. In this case, how far is 5 away? Well, there's two different answers to this. It can be x is equal to 5 because 5 is 5 away from 0. Or at the same time, x can be negative 5 because that happens to be 5 away from the 0 at the same time. So what we need to do now is to write this in a shorthand form, which is x is equal to positive or negative 5, as that is the accepted way to write it when both answers are 5's being opposite sign. The next example, absolute value of x is equal to negative 3. And we've already learned that you can't have an absolute value and have an answer that is negative. Because of that, one like this would be no solution. The third example, absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to 7. So the value of x plus 3 has to equal 7 or also negative 7, because when you take the absolute value of both of those numbers, the result is positive 7. So what we do to solve is we split it up into two equations where where x plus 3 is equal to 7. Notice there's no absolute value signs because all we're doing is solving for x right now. Or x plus 3 could be negative 7. And when you subtract 3 from both sides, we get x equals 4 on the equation on the left. We also subtract 3 from both sides over here, and we get x is equal to negative 10. Now for this example, we're going to do a check as well. Because there are two answers, we do have to do two checks. So we write down the equation, we substitute x equals 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, absolute value of 7 is 7, so that one works. We do it again for the negative 10. Negative 10 plus 3 is equal to negative 7, absolute value of negative 7 is 7 as well, so that works. And these all should work because it does have an equal sign. A quick rule, before an equation can be split, the absolute value must be isolated. So here's an example, absolute value of 2x plus 4 minus 8 is equal to 6. Notice that minus 8 needs to be moved to the other side in order to get the absolute value sign by itself. The opposite of subtracting 8 is to add 8 to both sides. Excuse me, so 6 plus 8 is 14. At this point, we're now able to split it. So 2x plus 4 is equal to 14, or 2x plus 4 is equal to negative 14. Let's go back to the equation on the left here. Opposite of adding 4, subtract 4. So 2x is equal to 10. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 5. On this side, again, subtract 4 from both sides. So 2x is equal to negative 18. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to negative 9. And again, checking is always a good idea. Substitute both of the numbers back into the original and see if both sides will equal 6. Third equation, 2 times the absolute value of 4x plus 8 is equal to 16. So what we need to do, because there is another little side rule, at no time can you ever distribute into an absolute value sign. We have to isolate it first by getting rid of that 2. Opposite of multiplying is dividing, so I divide both sides by 2. So absolute value of 4x plus 8 is equal to 8. Now you're ready to split it into the two parts to solve for x. So 4x plus 8 is equal to 8, or 4x plus 8 is equal to negative 8. Now let's solve each one. So the opposite of adding 8 is subtracting. So 4x is equal to 0. I divide both sides by 4, and x is equal to 0. On this side, subtract 8 from both sides, so 4x is equal to negative 16. Divide both sides by 4, and x equals negative 4. Again, you should take the time to check. Next one, 2 times the absolute value of x minus 5 plus 4 is equal to negative 12. And again, you have to isolate the absolute value. So I'm going to subtract 4 first from both sides. So 2 times the absolute value of x plus 5 is equal to negative 16. Now I divide both sides by 2, because again, there's no distribution in absolute value signs. So absolute value of x minus 5 equals negative 8. At this point, once you have the absolute value sign, you have to ask yourself, can you have a negative number on the right-hand side? The answer is no. We like these because the answer is no solution. You stop at that point. But you do have to show on your equation that absolute value is isolated with the negative on the other side. So let's look at this one. Now, at times you'll have a negative on this side, but you can't always just assume that it's going to be a no solution. You do have to solve the equation to get the absolute value isolated and then check to see if it can be split. So here I have to get rid of this 6 first, so I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Then I'm going to get rid of this negative 4 by dividing both sides by negative 4. And now you'll see that you have a positive on this side. At this point, you can now split it into the two parts. So x minus 8 is equal to 4, or x minus 8 is equal to negative 4. Add 8 to both sides, x equals 12. Add 8 to both sides, x equals positive 4. So that's actually the entire lesson, nice and quick. And so we're going to be doing a worksheet. It has 18 questions on it. Your actual assignment is going to be 1 through 17 odd, but I will also allow you to do, if you wish, 1 through 18 all, and I'll give you extra credit. So again, the actual assignment is 1 through 17 odd, but I'm offering an extra credit part of the assignment. So that's all. Thank you for being in my class today.